Alright, people know that it is very difficult to actually offend me, but there are a few things that can. And this is something that personally hurts my soul. This is something that personally affects everything I believe in life. It is now racist to like big asses. How fucking dare you? Let's go. The human butt has long been the object of all manner of obsessions, correct? We worry over it, its size, shape, whether or not it has cellulite on it, how it looks in a pair of jeans, but now a new source of concern emerges. Of course it's new because it's stupid. The alarming possibility that one's ass, or at least one's relationship to it, is racist. So let's just be very fucking clear right off the bat. No, it isn't. That's it. It's just not. Now, over the last 20 years or so, I swear to God, white girls' asses have genuinely gotten bigger and rounder and plumpier. I don't know. Something in the water? I don't know what's going on, but I mean, you compare women from like 1950 to 1990, and women were like primarily flat. Well, sorry, white women were primarily flat, and it was always, black girls have big asses thing, right? But I swear to God, as an ass professional, I can tell you there must be something in the water these days, because something's happened to white girls' hormones, because these days white girls are not only getting bigger, but they're actually getting bigger than the average black girl. They fucking are, okay? Like, white girls are evolving, and it's probably one of the only good things about modern day. But it's fucking true. But it's not racist. If I tell you that I prefer a white girl's big ass to a black girl's big ass, that's not called racism. That is called something that's not allowed these days. Personal fucking preference. I'm allowed to be attracted to whatever the hell my penis wants, and that's what it is. With that being said, let's continue reading this insanity. For this, we may think that the existence of Butts, a backstory, a new book by journalist, whatever. To be fair, it surely is not Radke's intention to inculcate I can't even talk, racial anxiety in her reader. Butts feels like a passion project, deeply researched and fun to read, offering a deep dive into the history and culture of the human rear end, from the Venus callipage to buns of steel. Okay, enough of reading. Tell me why it's racist, you shithead. They have it written in the very particular milieu of 2020's America. Butts unfortunately fall victim to the contemporary vogue for viewing all matters of culture through a racial lens. First of all, the reason why they're viewed in general is because of our modern culture, mainstream media, Hollywood, things like that. But by all means, sure, I'm sure you'll find a way to blame white people, as you always do. The result is a work that not only flattens the butt, figuratively, but makes the book feel ultimately less like an anthropological study and more like an entry into the crowded genre of work which served to stoke the white liberal guilt of the NPR tote bag set. Although, they said white liberal guilt. Okay, no, we're still good. I'm not sure if this article is, like, against it, but we'll see. The concept of cultural appropriation. Real quick, if you haven't seen my video, if you haven't, you should go watch it, by the way. But quick note, if you want to just get an idea of what cultural appropriation is and what people think it is, here's a summary. People think that cultural appropriation is that you are simply racist if you enjoy clothing or food from a different culture, when in reality that used to be the complete opposite of racism, and the actual term is not cultural appropriation, it's cultural appreciation. If I enjoy Mexican food, I'm not a fucking racist, I simply enjoy Mexican food, therefore I'm appreciating the culture. Now, why was cultural appropriation created? If you didn't know, this is the real reason. You may notice that cultural appropriation is only said towards white people. You see, black people are not told that they're culturally appropriating if they do things of white culture, Mexican, Indian, whatever. You're only culturally appropriating if you have white skin and you're doing something of another culture. So it's not really a cultural thing. It's just, you have white skin, therefore you're bad, and here's another excuse for us to insult you. That's all it is. But yeah, watch my video on it. Regardless, has always struck me as both fundamentally misguided and historically illiterate. Oh, thank you. Oh, hey, so this person writing this is actually smart. Okay, good. Arising from a study and curiosity about both the inherent contagiousness of culture and the mimetic nature of human beings, but when it comes to the remixing of things such as textiles, hairdos, or fashion trends across cultures, the appropriation complaints seem at least understandable. Okay, maybe, I don't know. If not persuasive, there's a conscious element there, a choice to take what looked interesting on someone else and adorn your own body in the same way. Yeah, but we're not talking about something that has a choice. If you have a big ass, it's usually natural unless you had a BBL, right? But anyway, here though the appropriate item is literally a body part. Okay, I should have kept reading. The size and shape of which we rather notoriously have no control over, thank you, and yet Radke employs more or less the same argument to stigmatize the appropriation of butts as it is often made about dreadlocks or bindus. So, okay, so I made a small mistake. This article is not about the person who called it racist. This article is reacting to it, but that's okay. We can still get an idea of what the idiots had to say. So effectively, the person that they're responding to, the person who called it racist, basically said that it's a cultural appropriation for white girls to have big asses because big asses are meant to be for black people. I don't know what you want me to say. Whatever the fuck was put in the water to make white girls evolve the last 20 years, 23 years, you tell me. The book is insisting on this front. Butts are a black thing. And liking them is a black male thing. And the appreciation of butts by non-black folks represents a moral error, cultural theft, or stolen valor, or some potent mix of the two. And let me just say, as an ass connoisseur, a ass obsessor, an ass worshipper, I want to thank all of the white girls around the world for putting your best cheek forward and evolving. And quite frankly, in my opinion, in this humble man's opinion, you have actually evolved past the average black woman. Now, granted, I do live in Ontario, Canada, and maybe the black girls here are just different from other countries, which I'm almost guaranteeing that's true. But from what I see in where I live, yes, white girls have surpassed black women. It's the fucking, as far as having a big ass is concerned, yes, the white girls have straight up been surpassed them. Okay. Among the scholar and experts quoted by Radke on this front is one who asserts that its contemporary appreciation of butts by the wider male population is coming from black male desire, straight up, point blank. It's only through black males and their gaze that white men are starting to take notice. Incorrect. To paraphrase a popular meme, fellas, is it racist to this has been growing, by the way, this meme. And no, it's not. Believe the notion that white guys were oblivious to the existence of butts until black men made it cool to notice them. But the culturally legacy of the butt is undeniably entangled with the legacy of racism and eugenics. Of course it is. Including a sordid and repellent history wherein certain anthropologists of the white male variety both fetishized the physiques of black women with ample backsides and conflated their peculiarities with savagery and promiscuity. Unreal. And then they go on to explain that the idiot Radke mentions some woman from South Africa who was fetishized a lot and gawked at, poked and grabbed, blah blah blah, and it's partly because of her that we like asses and we should feel bad for her because she was sexualized because her ass was big, and Jesus Christ, including the shape of her skull and K, which are held up as evidence that she and hence all black women were a lower order of human being. So white girls just having a bigger ass makes black women feel like lower human beings. Amazing. Like, it's funny. We can, as I said, we know that over the last 20 years, white girls' asses have literally grown in size. Like, it's fucking true. It has happened. But it's not like it's a choice. And if you want me to be serious, because I actually don't know what the reason is, but I swear to God, it must be like a chemical thing. It has to be. There's chemicals in the food now. There's chemicals in the water that's changing up the women's hormones and just making them grow ass size to be like bigger and more shapier and plumpier. I don't know. Okay, I'm not going crazy. This is the fucking truth. Just look at your average girl from the 80s and look at your average girl today. There is a gigantic difference when you take into account things like thunder thighs and ass size. It's the truth. I don't know what the real reason is. My reason probably is right, but still, it's a thing. Like, and you can't control it, you know. Radke does assume, though, repeatedly, persistently, and sometimes in spite of alternative theories or evidence to the contrary, this includes advancing the argument that bustles, the Victorian era fashion that trended more than 50 years after Sarah Bartman's death, were inspired by her singular figure, and that white women were coyly, perhaps even consciously, appropriating her silhouette in an act of racist fetishization. Alright, girls, if you have a big ass just from being alive, you're a racist. Now, is there an argument to be made that if you get a BBL, you're a racist? You can make the argument, but I didn't say it was a good argument. You're still a fucking... You can make it, but you're still a fucking idiot. Girls, even white girls who have a big ass as a result of surgery, are still not racist. They simply just want one because they like how it looks, or they want to look sexy for other people. You know? Again, like, ass fetishizing, especially with like Instagram models and stuff, is a gigantic thing today, okay? But it's not racial. When you look at singers like Nicki Minaj, for example, making it like the focal point of her entire identity, are you saying that white women are not allowed to listen to her music because it might make them desire a bigger ass? That's not racism. It's just that a lot of music today as well is pushing the idea. Or how Hollywood is also pushing the idea. Beauty standards are pushing that idea. But are they pushing it because of racism? Or are they pushing it because that's just a trendy thing the last decade? It's not racism. Now, of course we can argue that it's simply not a good trend. We can argue that the BBL surgeries are not healthy. We can argue a whole bunch of things. But they're not racist. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. So fuck off. So yada 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 shit about her book, and then we go on to, one gets the sense that non-black women are not supposed to have big butts because you can control it. That those who do have accomplished something unnatural, if not outright suspicious. And if you insist on having one, and really, do you have to, then you must under no circumstances be proud of it or acquire positive attention for it, or, heaven forfend, make it part of your brand. God forbid, white girls, sorry, put on sweatpants and a long jacket, cover that shit up, because men are not allowed to be attracted to anything. Ironically, the author of this book is herself a white woman with a large backside. Ah, yes, the traditional liberal self-hate. Copyright. Patented. And I love how, despite the fact that she admits to being a white woman herself with a big ass, she still calls it cultural appropriation, as if she's culturally appropriating something that she can't control. When you have that much self-guilt, wow. Anyway, and then the rest of it is just going on about her book. And the point is, never mind the woman's book. I wanted to talk about this more as just an overall concept, okay? It's something you can't control, therefore it's not cultural appropriation, because cultural appropriation, which, first of all, it doesn't even exist, but even if it did exist, it would be choice only. And it's not racist to have a big ass. It's not racist to like them either. It's literally not even meant to be a racial thing. As I said, it's meant to be more of a trendy, modern thing that Hollywood's pushing, that models are pushing, that musicians are pushing, such as Nicki Minaj and many others. Yeah, so just like with the N-word, if black people wanted it to be solely theirs, you wouldn't be parading it around everywhere. Anyway, to the idiot who wrote this book, you're a fucking idiot. And I will defend my honor to the day I die. Bye.